What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. It has been a while since I uploaded on this channel. I appreciate those of you guys who are still subscribed to this channel. I know it's been a while, it's been a minute. It's been a really long time since I posted on this channel. I appreciate those of you guys who are still subscribed. I will, be posting a lot more consistently on the channel from now onwards. The reason I have not been is because a lot of work, school, over the past year, a lot has, happened. I graduated, working stuff, a lot of stuff. So because of that, and also because of me posting and investing a lot of time on the Heat Report, I just haven't really able to invest the amount of time that I really would want to on this channel. And I just think it's really unfair for you guys if I'm not uploading consistently on any of my channels. So because of that, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to give this channel a break. And then I'm back now. I feel like this is a good time for me to come back and start uploading on this channel. This is strictly NBA college basketball related. So yeah, I mean, I'm really just, looking forward to getting back onto that pattern with this channel, the upload pattern. And we're just here to talk about, without further ado, the Charlotte Hornets, because I do want to start a series, kind of mini series, where I kind of talk about every single team that is intriguing or interesting, who hasn't really found out their identity or direction, or hasn't really, made a lot of people's eyes open. And the Charlotte Hornets are one of those teams, man. As somebody who currently, just recently, a year ago, almost, moved to this area, Charlotte area, I can sense a lot of disappointment from a lot of fans. Charlotte has the Panthers, the Hornets, they have Charlotte FC, the MLS team. Unfortunately, they don't really have a sports team that is really carrying that city right now. All the sports teams are just kind of in a rebuild, or just not doing well. So because of that, they haven't really had a lot of excitement. But I do think, the Panthers are moving in the right direction. Maybe I can make a football channel to talk about that. And I do definitely think the Hornets, after what happened today, are moving in the right direction as well. Now, if you guys were not aware of what happened, Steve Clifford is officially no longer the Hornets coach. He will be moved up to a front office position, and the Hornets will continue to look for a new coach, while an interim coach, who I'm not really sure off the top of my head who it is, but I believe it'll be someone in that coaching staff, will take over for the remainder of the season now, which is, I believe, only 8 or 9 games for them. So, yeah, that is the big news for today. And I think this is good news for the team, man. I mean, Steve Clifford, no disrespect to him, great guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, because it's not like they fired him. He kind of just stepped down, and he moved to a front office position because I think both parties realized that it just wasn't the right fit moving forward for him to be the head coach. Somebody who's an older coach, and not really a coach that will excel at developing younger talent. Isn't really somebody you can grow with these players. He's an older coach, so because of that, it just doesn't really make sense pairing him with a extremely young team like the Hornets, who I've always said, need that, guy who's unproven, untested, that younger guy, who's kind of just coming up into the scene, just like kind of how OKC did with like Mark Daigneault. So I really like this move for Steve Clifford to just go into the front office, still be around the team, but isn't the head coach, which I like. Now, who will be the head coach, you might ask? Now, there's a lot of options. Now, I believe either Woj or Shams, one of the two, had posted a list of potential candidates that the Hornets might be looking at, and that list includes Miami Heat assistant Chris Quinn, who I am a huge fan of. Obviously, as a Heat fan, I would not like to see him go. He's been with the Heat for a while, but he's on that list. Boston Celtics assistant Charles Lee, Sacramento's assistant Jordi Fernandez, Phoenix's Kevin Young, and others were namely on that list. just being completely unbiased, I would like to say that Jordy Fernandez and Charles Lee, I think, should be the two that I'm really, really looking at if I'm the Charlotte Hornets. And I'm a huge fan of Charles Lee. Charles Lee, a lot of people give, Charles Lee credit, like including Joe Mazzulla, who respectively credits him for bringing a championship pedigree and perspective to the coaching staff. And Charles Lee is a very, very good offensive coach. He was previously on Mike Budenholzer's coaching staff when he was with the Bucks. And Charles Lee is very, very good, man. I really like Charles Lee. I think Charles Lee is like the next guy up. I like Jordy Fernandez as well. I like both of them. I think Jordy Fernandez and Charles Lee would be a very, very, or one of the two would be a very, very good addition for the Charlotte Hornets. Younger coaches who, and I believe Jordy Fernandez was voted as the best assistant coach in the GM survey last season, or this season. So because of that, I would definitely prefer one of the two for the Hornets. Chris Quinn is also not a bad option. As a Heat fan, Chris Quinn is amazing. The only thing is, when hiring or getting anybody from the Heat, you have to kind of be wary of the fact that a lot of the people that you're going to hire or get could just be a product of the fact that they're working with Spoelstra. And that's even, something for the players. Like, you see a lot of Heat players who are these undrafted guys who people try to take a chance on, and it just doesn't work out because the system of the Heat really benefited these players. No knock on the players or the coaches, but that's just what it is sometimes. So that's why I would be a little wary of Chris Quinn, not just saying because I want the Heat to keep him, because, we let go of Dan Craig to the Clippers. The Heat did, and, it didn't really affect the team too much. But, Chris Quinn is probably number 3 if I were to, say who should be on the top of Charlotte's list, but definitely one of the 3 I would say. I don't really want to see the same coaches getting hired and fired. I mean, even hiring Steve Clifford in the first place was a little bit of a head scratcher to me, just because they had fired him before. So it's like, I don't really understand. I never really understood the fact that they hired a guy that they fired a couple years ago. I would say those 3 definitely make sense for the Hornets. Coming to the roster, I think the Hornets are in a very, very good position, man. I think the only thing that's really stopping the Hornets from taking that next step, in my opinion, was the coaching and was the health. I am a huge fan of the Hornets' young core. I'm a very huge fan, and I might be in the minority because I don't really think a lot of people talk about the Hornets, and rightfully so. I mean, the Hornets are not anything to talk about, but for hoop heads like me, if I'm watching basketball, if I'm like looking at rosters, I'm like, bro, who is going to be a team in the future to watch out for? If this team can stay healthy, you have to look at the Hornets as a potential team that can really, really make some noise in a few years. And for that to happen, obviously, injuries is a big, big factor. Namely for LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball has been hurt basically every single year of his career besides one where he was an all-star. But when healthy, LaMelo is arguably top 10 at his position. He is a uber talented point guard who can do a lot of things on the court, who can be the engine of an offense. The only thing stopping him is the health. And if he is able to, get his ankles a little stronger and make sure that he doesn't injure them every season, then they actually have a real shot of, making a push to the play-in next season. I really believe that. I really believe so, man. I believe that if the Hornets are able to stay healthy, they have a lottery pick, a top 5 pick projected this season. If they are able to stay healthy, man, it would be a dream for them, for me, as somebody who likes this team. Not saying I'm a fan of the Hornets, but just as somebody who likes the pieces, it would be a very, very good thing for this team to make that push if they were to stay healthy. It's not just LaMelo. Mark Williams has been MIA for the past how many ever months. He's been doubtful with, I don't know what injury he has. I think it's a lower body injury. But him and LaMelo are the 2 guys that I'm like, if they can stay healthy. You have Brandon Miller, who you hit the jackpot on, and that pick was amazing for them. A lot of people wanted Scoot. They stuck to their guns, took Brandon Miller, and it paid off. That core with LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams is elite for the future, man. Because a guard wing big trio is always what you need as the building block of your franchise. You need balance, and they have a very balanced big three if they were able to stay healthy for the future. LaMelo is the engine of the offense, the point guard who can facilitate, who can score at will when he needs to, can rebound. The defense, I feel like, can be better from him just because he's 6'7", he's long. He's not extremely athletic, but he does have the ability to stay in front of people if he wants to and get in the passing lanes as a bigger point guard. I hope he takes pride on that end. They have the wing, who is a guy who can score from multiple levels. Very, very good shot creator off the dribble, off the catch, spot up shooter if need be. And they have a lob threat and a rim protecting center who is very athletic, mobile, and plays with a lot of energy, hustle, and heart in Mark Williams. So you have those three building blocks, and I feel like the trades that they have made have really, really benefited them for the better during the trade deadline. I really, really like the pickups of both Trey Mann and Alexei Pokusevski. Now, more so Trey Mann. I've been a huge Trey Mann fan since Florida. I mean, he's from Florida, so as somebody who's from Florida, I keep up with a lot of Florida high school hoops. This kid has got it, man. He is a very, very good player. And I do think that with the Charlotte Hornets, especially with the absence of LaMelo in this stretch, he has been able to showcase a lot of his talent at this level. I really, really like his game. I think Trey Mann is a very, very, very good player, especially if you want to have him coming off your bench. He can be a good sixth man. He can be a guy who can run your offense and can score the ball. I don't really know if I like to fit next to LaMelo because he's not big enough to me to be a two guard, but as a point guard, I like Trey Mann off the bench. Nick Richards is serviceable. I think Grant Williams brings some toughness. Now, Grant Williams, I'm not sure how long they plan on having him there. I would look to move him away just because he has 4 years on his contract, getting paid a hefty amount of money. I think, I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but it's close to 20 million, or maybe I don't think it's above 20 million a year, but somewhere near there per year for 4 years still. So I would look to be moving on from Grant Williams next season. I would definitely be looking to move on from Miles Bridges. Just get that whole cloud of Miles Bridges off that team. I'm not saying anything about his talent on the court, but just because of the off the court stuff, you're gonna have to pay him in the offseason. It's just not worth it. Leave Miles Bridges alone. Don't try to re-sign him. Please, Charlotte, and try to move on from Grant Williams. Try to trade his contract to a contender who would want to have Grant Williams on their team. Seth Curry, again, story is cool. Dell played for the Hornets. He wears his numbers, stuff like that, but I'm not sure what his future with the team is either. I like Cody Martin. Caleb is obviously on my Heat, so I know all about the Martin twins, and Cody was actually supposed to be the better Martin a couple years ago. Caleb came in and he was going crazy in the Eastern Conference Finals, but Cody actually has a lot of talent. Both of them at Nevada were killing. I love Leaky Black from UNC. He is a defensive monster, man. He reminds me a lot of Herb Jones on that defensive end. And then you have guys like who I'm really excited about in Nick Smith Jr., who I did not even mention. I feel like Nick Smith Jr. is like a microwave scorer and shooter. I feel like he reminds me a lot of Tyler Hero and Jamal Murray, the type of ways where he can really, really shoot the ball. Very, very good shooter. I like the improvement in JT Thor's three-point shooting game. I went to a couple of Hornets games, and JT Thor was knocking that shot down. He was knocking that three down. And I really like Bryce McGowan's out of Nebraska last season, who they drafted. Didn't really play too much, hasn't really played a lot, but Bryce McGowan's is a guy who I feel like could be a very good 3-and-D potential prospect for them. And the one thing I did not mention in depth was their top 5 potential pick that they can have, and that pick can turn into a lot. Now, this class is not the most stacked, I guess, for guys who are like gonna be amazing stars or anything like that, but bro, this pick can be a pick that can help them a lot, man. I mean, this pick is something that if you were to pair these guys alongside a Zachary Risache, a Cody Williams, a Matas Buzelis, a Ron Holland, I mean, that would be a dream. And I think it should be one of the four. I think it should be one of the four wings. I'm not sure about Stephon Castle just because I just don't like the fit with him and LaMelo. Alex Sarr is cool, but, you know, Alex Sarr and Mark Williams, I'm not really too sure about the floor spacing there. He's probably not even going to be there on the board, to be honest. Nikola Topic, same thing. I'm not really sure about the fit with LaMelo. You could go ahead and draft Rob Dillingham, put him at the 2. If you want to, but I feel like that would limit Rob Dillingham, who's more of a 1 to me. He was a 2 coming in, but his playmaking is actually a lot better than advertised. And then Reed Shepherd, maybe, if you want to go with some floor spacing. You already have a bigger point guard in LaMelo. I know Reed Shepherd's a little smaller, but you don't have to worry about that when you have a 6'7" point guard already. So maybe Reed Shepherd could be in play as well, but I think they should definitely go with a guy who can space the floor, knock down some shots, defend, doesn't really need to have the ball in their hands, can play on or off the ball, which is why I really like Risache for them. I really like Cody Williams for them. I really like Reed Shepherd. Ron Holland, I feel like he's the best prospect out of all of those. But Ron Holland, I just think that, you know, he doesn't have the floor spacing necessary in order to play alongside a player like LaMelo Ball. And that's why I don't think he's the perfect fit. This is the draft where you draft for fit, because it's not really like talent-wise. There's not really a clear-cut dude at the top for people. Like, if you go look at like 5 mock drafts, I guarantee you there's going to be at least 3 of them that have different people for number 1. It's just like that, where it's like, bro, you don't know who's going to be the number 1 pick. Like, even I don't know. Like, I have my guy is Ron Holland, but I don't know who will be the number 1 pick because it's just very hard to tell. So it's just so close at the top. So you don't really go and draft, you know, for, oh, this is the clear-cut guy. You draft for who will fit your team in this draft, because this is the draft to do so, which is why I mentioned those names. And I feel like if they can do that, if sign a couple of guys in free agency, maybe some veterans off the bench that they can bring. Bertans is going to be expiring next season. They're going to have that, I think, whatever, $19 million off the books. They're going to have cap space. I'm very excited for the future of this team, man. I really like what the Hornets and the direction that they're going in. I really do like what they're doing. And I think that if they are able to hit on that 4th overall pick, in years past they have not, but this is a new ownership, new front office, new coach. I do think that, you know, after hitting on Brandon Miller last season, hitting on that pick, I think Leaky Black was also a good pick. Amari Bailey was a good pick to me. I think after making those good picks, if they can continue that with this year and follow the stuff that I told them, not saying they have to follow them to a T, but in that general area, kind of do a lot of the things that I said. I mean, this team, don't surprise if they're making a play and push next season. I want to see them playing fast-paced. I don't want to see them playing slow. I want to see them running and gunning, and I more than anything want to see them healthy, because I think health is really the biggest thing that's holding this team back. They have talent, man. They have talent on this team, and it's just about staying healthy. So yeah, man, Hornets fans, you know, anybody who's a Hornet fan watching this video and is has thoughts about the move that they made with Steve Clifford, or what is the next steps for the Charlotte Hornets? Like, what do you think they should do? Any NBA fans, Heat fans, anybody, man, anybody. This is a community, a channel for everybody. That's why I made it. You know, back in the day when I made this channel in the first place, it was to cultivate a community of just basketball fans and purists and hoop heads like myself. So hopefully a lot of the points I made you guys agree with. If not, that's completely okay. Just make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. And yeah, I'm sorry about the fact that it's been a while since I posted on this channel, but we are back. We are here to stay. And hopefully we get to 1K as soon as possible on this channel. I'm trying to do that to grow this community even more and more. So yeah, we're going to wrap up the video here. Let me know what you guys think, Hornets fans. any fans, just let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and hit that post notification button. I'll see you later as always.